To be the best, you gotta beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
That this is the end of the run. What went into this decision for this to be your final fight inside the UFC octagon?
My mom has been asking me so much to do this for so long. She cannot take anymore, you know. So my family as well, Nina, has been around for so much with me my whole career. So she's pregnant now. And then we in this road for so long. So I decided right now, I'm still young to enjoy everything that I make, you know. I gotta travel a little bit with my family. I gotta spend more time with my family in Brazil as well. I leave them so young to come here to chase this dream and everything. I never was down in my mind, I'm gonna become a champion. But when I become a champion, it was unbelievable. A double champion. So I just wanna thank Dana to always be there for me, Hunter, and everybody that's making this show happen, all the staff in the UFC, you know, since the person that's taking the pictures and the security, and every single person in this show that's making this show happen. Thank you very much, Hunter. Thank you. I appreciate everything. So, one more thing to say. I come from a small city in Brazil. The name is Pojuca. Nobody knows where it is in Brazil, but I made it here. I become a champion, and the only champion that Brazil have right now. So, I believe in. Thank you.
Amanda, it was an amazing honor to watch your career all the way from Strikeforce to the UFC. What a performance tonight also, and what a fantastic career. Congratulations on a great career. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the greatest fighter of all time, Amanda Nunes.
My coaches, all right.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your boy Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk MMA. Sorry that we got here so late, but we had a lot of stuff that we had to get done today, so you're getting a late show, but nevertheless, you are getting a show today. And you see the thumbnail, you see what it's entitled. This is the UFC 289 review that I have entitled Thank You, Amanda. Because as you heard at the top of the broadcast, the greatest female fighter of all time has laid her gloves down in the center of the octagon and is walking away with her health. And as she said, a whole lot of money. So I'm not going to go it alone. So I do bring in my guests. I mean, sorry, not my guests, but my co-hosts, Zay and Bones. What's going on, fellas?
Yo, what's up?
Oh man, you coming in loud and clear. What's going on?
Hell, I'm ready for the show, man. I'm excited.
Zay, you there? Oh, unmute yourself. Zay. Oh, you muted yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound like Bones had his medicine today.
Huh?
He sound like Bones had his medicine today.
Oh,
yeah. Bones sounding like me, like he talking in this microphone. He all nice and clear and loud, and that's what's up, man. That's what I love to hear, man. Like I said, my apologies for the show being so late. I had prior commitments that I couldn't get out of. So let's pull this card up. To those of you, I see the eyeballs starting to pop up. So those of you who watching, please make sure and hit that like button when you come into the building. That is very important to this channel, that as many people are watching are also hitting that like button. It gets us out in the algorithms, you know. So when YouTube's doing their thing, they say, hey, here's a show that you might want to listen to. But that is all dependent on you guys hitting that like button. If you like the video, also comment on it. Feel free to comment in the chat. It's all good. Just don't be disrespectful or we'll boot you from it. All right, so right off the top, what do you guys think about last night's show?
Overall, I thought it was a good show. I started watching the fights from the very first fight, so I started from the early prelims, and I watched them all the way through. I'll give more details on the main event once we get there, but it was a real good card overall. It was a few letdowns, but I'll go more into detail about that later.
How was the Canada crowd though? Like as far as like if
the Canada crowd, they were crunk, and surprisingly, the Canadian fighters went 6-0, so that just like set an electricity throughout the building, and the fans were pumped up all night.
Okay,
I would even say even the fighters that weren't Canadian but train in Canada, even they won. And a lot of times you see these UFC events. I would say the card overall over delivered. And a lot of times you see these cards where in the early prelims, a lot of people out there dressed up like empty seats. But in this one, I feel like it was a packed house. Everybody got there for the first fight.
Once you was like midway through the night, you understood why the UFC returned back to Canada, and it makes sense. Yeah, I would expect for them to go back again too within probably a year or so, because it was a real good turnout, and now they got a lot of Canadian prospects too. So,
well, it's just like I said though, Canada notoriously is good for wrestling. So I could imagine if you bring them a hot MMA show that they'd pop for it. I mean, hell, even when the Toronto Raptors were in the finals a few years ago, like that Toronto, well, I don't know what the hell they call the arena, but that arena was on fire, man. You know, that arena was on fire. So Canada is a real good sports town. They're really good. They're good big moments. Like when you bring them a big event, they show up and they show out.
yeah.
Hey Zay, say something because I cut your echo out. I want to hear if it makes you sound clearer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Better?
You sound muffled though. That's the thing. Like I can hear you. You're not coming as clear as you normally do.
Give me a second.
Peace, Adrian Cutler. I see you in the building. Real quick, just while Zay's working on that mic issue. Tomorrow night, Man Talk Monday. Yeah, Rapture City is Air Canada Center. Yeah, Ricardo says that tomorrow night, Man Talk Monday, tomorrow at 6, we'll be talking about polygamy in the Black community. So make sure and tune into that. That's going to be an awesome show. Might be very polarizing, but it nevertheless is going to be tremendous tomorrow at 6. So make sure and tune into that. Let me go on and pull up this fight card. So we're doing the prelims. All right, let's go to the prelims.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so let me pull up this card. Share screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Got it.
So the first fight,
Oh, you can go to the early prelims.
was it a short card?
No, we just
Yeah, it was like 11 fights.
Oh, it was only two. Oh, it was only 2 fights. Oh,
Yeah.
a sister. Wait, what's going on here? So, okay, we're going to the early prelims. In the women's strawweight bout, we have Diana Belbita, not to be confused with the cheese Velveeta. I know. I'm starting off corny already. But Diana Belbita defeated Maria Oliveira. She's a Brazilian, and that's a sister. Via unanimous decision.
So this fight, Belbita, she mostly kept the fight standing up, and she pieced her up on the feet. She just looked like she was more comfortable in the octagon. She was throwing better combinations, and I think the problem with Oliveira is her chin was too stationary. She was like a stationary target. Like she wasn't having any head movement. She wasn't like you could tell she just wasn't as technical. So Belbita, she pieced her up, and yeah, she was good last night, and it was a big win for her.
Belbita, I had never seen her fight before, but apparently she's from Romania, trains in Canada. I had seen Maria Oliveira fight a couple of times. She kind of reminds me of a female version of Anderson Silva, but I wouldn't be surprised if she went into that fight with some kind of injury, because like Bone said, she was way more stationary than usual. She didn't really have any footwork. Most of her movement came from the hips, like she was trying to sway and dodge punches. She got a takedown in the first round, which is also like me. It adds to me thinking she had an injury because she's generally a striker. She started getting pieced up even more so in the third round, and then in the second round, and in the third round, she got desperate and she got gassed, and she kept going for takedowns, but she couldn't get them. Belbita kind of like put the pressure on her even more in the third round. It's like as the fight went on, it got worse and worse for her. So Belbita got a unanimous decision, and that set Canada up to get wild after the very first fight.
So the reason, because normally I wouldn't do this for undercard fights where I blow them up big like this, but I'm not used to seeing a black woman in MMA. So I wanted to see what her body type was like what, you know what I mean? Like, was she a more thicker, slender, what her body type was? Because I'm just looking at her, and you don't see this. Well, you guys see this. I don't see this in MMA. Like you don't see this representation. Let me just put it this way. When you talk about MMA for the women, they're all Brazilian, they're Czechoslovakian or something like that.
The only African American female fighter that comes to mind is Angela Hill, and I can't really think of many other ones.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
Danielle Taylor. You got a few of them sprinkled here and there, but like you said, it's not common.
Yeah, there's no representation. So again, if my daughter was watching this and like, I want to do this, but nobody looks like me.
Correct.
Whereas if she goes to the other sport and she sees Bianca Belair, she's like, oh man, that girl looks like me. I can do this. So but
she probably don't. I was gonna say she probably the only 2 black female wrestlers I can think of is her and Jade Cargill.
Yeah, but them two big pretty I'm trying not to say the F word, but them two big them two pretty big deals right there though. Like you got Sasha, you got Botcha Banks, you got Trinity, you got a lot of them. But yeah, this just shocked me because when you're looking at UFC, you're looking at MMA. I've never seen a black female MMA fighter. I don't think I've ever seen it. So this is like that just stood out to me when I saw that. I'm like, oh crap. You guys had anything else on that fight?
No,
No, that's pretty much it. I'm interested to see if Oliveira had an injury, if it'll even come out.
Yeah, that's what I finished. Like bro said, maybe she did have an injury because her head movement just wasn't there. She was she was too stationary for me.
All right, so in our next fight, we had a flyweight bout. David Dvorak versus Steve Erceg. And Steve won via unanimous decision.
As you can see, he was a big underdog too.
Yeah.
David Dvorak. I never heard of either one of these guys. They say Dvorak was number 10 in the flyweight division, which shocked the hell out of me. But they call him the Undertaker. Steve Erceg, he took the fight on like 3 days' notice. So I guess that's why he was such a big underdog. That was an extremely entertaining fight. Both guys got rocked in the first round. They were hitting each other with leg kicks. David Dvorak, his leg was toast. As far as bruising goes, like right by the calf in the first round. But every time he caught one, he threw one right back. So they was trading leg kicks for a while. This fight took place everywhere, against the cage, in open space, and on the mat. There was a couple of extremely entertaining scrambles on the mat. It kind of put you in mind of the fight that we previewed, Dan Henderson versus Shogun. There was a couple of good reversals on the mat. Steve Erceg won this fight. It was kind of close, but I would say the right man won. I don't really got too much to add about it. It was just very fun. It was a fun fight, very entertaining, competitive. It was one of those fights where you kind of like felt like either one of them could take each other out at any moment. I was actually pretty surprised, and I believe Erceg got a performance bonus.
Bones, you there?
Yeah, my bad. I had muted myself. Dvorak, he was supposed to fight Matt Schnell, who was also a ranked contender. So I'm thinking maybe because his opponent pulled out and he had a replacement who was kind of like a no-name fighter. I guess he wasn't up for this fight. He underestimated his opponent, being that he was ranked number 10 and the other guy not ranked at all. But Steve Erceg, he's a champion. He was a champion over in Australia. And he was like on the good three fight winning streak as far as defending his belt over there. So he wasn't a slouch, but we not familiar to him over here. He came in and he performed real well. He looked real rounded. He was having good combinations, and I was real impressed with him. And I'm anxious to see where he finna go from here, or if they gonna rank him at all, because he beat the number 10 guy. So I don't know if they're gonna put him at number 15 and put him right outside the top 15, or give him somebody else rank. Because I mean, he already beat the number 10 guy, so I don't see him backtracking and fighting somebody that's not ranked, you know. And he was already a champion of the organization, so I feel like he got a lot of momentum.
And I believe they're going to Sydney in September, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw him on that card.
Yep. And they call him.
This is when
he looked like Astro Boy. He's very unassuming. Like, he don't look like he should be a fighter, but he real slick though. I like him.
Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of this sport. That's one of the things I love about it so much, because you never know what you don't know, and anything can happen.
All right, let's let me pause real quick. I really hate doing this. St. Louis, the last email I got from you was asking me to do the interview Tuesday. And I told you that I would do the interview Tuesday. And from there, you never responded to me. After that, two of your friends, I'm assuming, came over here and asked me the same question. And I told them the same thing. I will do it Tuesday. Not Tuesday, Thursday. Sorry. I'll do it Thursday because I had a face-to-face for the debate league Tuesday, and I couldn't do anything then. So I emailed you that I will do it Thursday. And I told your the two Israel brothers that I would do it Thursday, and I hadn't heard anything from you since. So I don't know what's going on. I didn't see anything today. So all right, let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next match. In a featherweight bout, we have Kyle Nelson defeating Blake Bilder via unanimous decision. So another unanimous decision, and this is the fight that you guys didn't even want to preview yesterday.
Yeah,
you're right.
Blake Builder. I don't know him, but apparently, he had like a little bit of hype behind him. They were talking. The commentators were talking about when he came into the fighter meeting, because every fighter who's on the card, they go through like a little fighter meeting before the fight and everything. He came in with like an entourage of like 5, 6, 7 people or whatever, and they were just kind of saying how he already kind of got like a lot of confidence in himself. I don't want to say cocky, but he got like a lot of confidence in himself. And you can tell he's also not undefeated, but he never been beaten because he's 8-0-1, so he got one no contest or a draw. But because he never lost before, I feel like he was a little bit too cocky. You can just tell by his demeanor, and I don't think he really respected Kyle and Nelson the way he should have. He was getting pieced up too, and he ended up getting bloodied up throughout the fight. And Kyle Nelson was catching him with some decent jabs and everything, and I feel like it caught him off guard. So he suffered his first loss, and that was a big win for Kyle Nelson.
Yeah, you can tell Blake Builder got extremely frustrated at the end. He pretty much got dominated throughout the fight. It wasn't that competitive. It was entertaining. Like, he did enough to keep it entertaining, but it wasn't competitive. The third round, you can tell he was frustrated. His coaches kept telling him he had to go for the knockout. He started showing a little bit more aggression, and he was trying to get under Blake Builder's skin Kyle Nelson's skin by taunting him, and he started throwing all these spinning kicks and just being real aggressive, but a lot of it was missing. And I was impressed at how Kyle Nelson kept his composure and just kept straight faced. He didn't buy into the taunting. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with him. Who he's gonna be matched up with next. Overall, that was a pretty entertaining fight. It was another fight that I wasn't really looking forward to, but it delivered. And again, that's why even some people only focus on the main card when they watching, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like just because you don't know a person, it's almost like when you're watching wrestling and you say, "Oh, I don't know these people," and they end up putting on a good match. Like, just because you don't know a person, don't mean that they don't got talent.
I feel like that was a shot at me.
No, it wasn't. It's just, I'm guilty of it too when it comes to wrestling.
And this is the first. This was like the first Canadian to take the victory tonight.
He was the second.
Yep,
second, and he was a big underdog too.
Right.
Yeah, he was the underdog in this fight. So now okay. Oh wow. Okay, I haven't even seen the name of the next one, but okay. So this is the one that you guys. Both of you guys had the heavy money on them. What you call him? The Mongolian
murderer.
The Mongolian murderer. He doesn't even have a first name. How you say his name?
Arichi Long.
Arichi Long got KO'd by Almin Zahabi in the first round. So tell me how that one went. And he was also an underdog.
Man, that one shocked the hell out of me. Ayman Zahabi came in. They were saying how he wants to keep Arichi Long on his back foot. Arichi Long was putting the pressure. He kept his distance because Ayman Zahabi is a wrestler, so he was trying to keep him in kickboxing range. he kept throwing kicks, but every time he threw a kick, Ayman Zahabi would catch his leg and try to counter. Well, he didn't try to counter him like the first 2 times. The third time, he caught the leg and started driving him backwards and threw a right hook, but the right hook missed, and he let go of the leg and landed a left hook and dropped him, and he was out. And the referee stood over him. Ayman Zahabi started to celebrate. And he realized the ref didn't call the fight, so then he had to go and add insult to injury, caught him with like 2 or 3 extra punches, and that solidified him putting him out. The referee stopped it, and Arichi Long was down for a little minute, and when he got back up, he saw Ayman Zahabi and put his hands up because he thought the fight was getting ready to start.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, real quick, Bones, before you jump in there, piece of Commissioner Angel. If y'all hadn't, just go look at that stream that they just did where they did the trophy presentations. Those trophies are fantastic. And Angel, you see this nice big spot right here? My championship will look so good right here. So just know that I'll have it on full display when I win it. And that's my promise. I promise you I will be the champion that the debate league needs. Piece of tequila in the chat also. So this guy got knocked out so bad that when he got back up, he thought that it was time to fight.
Yes.
Yep.
So now I'm gonna put my bat signal up now for Vancat, because whenever I bring this word up, Vancat just happened to pop up and tell me, "Oh, Trevor, why aren't we harder on the UFC about concussions than we are with the WWE?" Because this guy clearly was concussed.
Yeah, but this guy isn't going to fight again for about 6 to 8 months, as opposed to a wrestler that's going to wrestle again probably in a couple of weeks or so, possibly.
What's your
And not just that, in my opinion, I feel like you're in a fist fight. Like, this is a fight. It's concussions are to be expected. Like, this is what you signed up for. Concussions are, I mean, you get what I'm saying? It's become with the territory. Like, you don't play football and not expect to get a concussion. You get punched in the face, kicked in the head.
Wait, let me say something. Hey, bro, I think it was Jared Gordon, right? He was in a fight against Bobby Green recently, and he had got knocked out with a headbutt. And then he recently signed on to fight again, I think a few weeks ago. But the commission stepped in and was like, no, you can't fight because you got knocked out recently, and it was like a serious knockout. So they pulled him out of the fight, and they stepped in and they saved him from himself. You know?
Absolutely, but and see that right there, it's like you gotta look at the UFC in that situation and place some blame on them, because they knew he recently got knocked out and they let him sign a fight for like 30 days later. He was scheduled to fight. So and I feel like if it wasn't for Jared Gordon, I don't know if he got a doctor to sign off, if he know a doctor person. I don't know how that happened, but usually they want to see proof of health before you can get cleared to fight. But when he was in the fighter meeting at a press conference, he was saying something about how he healed his concussion and whatnot. And then that's when the commission stepped in and said, wait a minute, something ain't right here. You're not fighting.
I just find it so I find it almost laughable that we always so quick to, well, let me not say we, my co-host Vancat is always so quick to jump on he's always so quick to jump on the NFL and always so quick to jump on the WWE. But here you have a company that you're getting punched in the face for a living, and obviously I would bet you, hold on, I have to mute you real quick. I would bet you that of if they had 100 fights, maybe 10 of those fights didn't result in a concussion, whether known or unknown. The risk for concussions in doing that is 100 times more than in wrestling.
It's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. So why aren't the commissions coming? This man got beat up. This man got knocked out so bad that when he got up, he thought it was time to start the fight. Like how bad do you have to have your clock clean?
How do you make fighting safe?
I don't know.
You can't, because it's an oxymoron. It's a fight.
Yep.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and nobody wants to see anybody take permanent damage. But I mean, I feel like when you choose this career path, you know what comes with it.
I just think it's weird, and I'm not saying y'all. A lot of this is directed to Venkat. That I think his hatred for the WWE is like it's always everything they do doesn't make their fighters safe. When I'm looking at a company that in order to win, who punches their opponent in the face the hardest. I've been concussed before, and it's not a good feeling. I ain't gonna tell my concussion story because the way I got it was the most ridiculous thing in the world. No, I didn't get beat up or anything like that. I'll tell it. We were running on the beach one morning. Me, my wife, and Shaka were running on the beach one morning, and y'all know Fort Lauderdale Beach always has all these potholes in them. So I'm running, and my foot plants in a hole. Like I don't know if maybe a crab was burrowing or a sea turtle or what. My foot planted, and I slammed face first into the sand and basically knocked myself out. And like the girls were in front of me and they didn't know. They were like, damn, he was right behind us. What happened? And then they happened to turn around and look and see me laying there. It's like, oh crap. Like, like what?
At least we didn't see it.
In the world.
Hey, bro.
Yo.
You know what impressed me about Ayman Zahabi?
What?
The fact that he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
And this is his second knockout in a row. I feel like that shows growth and improvement. And sometimes I wonder, okay, he's coached by Faraz Zahabi. He coached a lot of great fighters, Kenny Florian, GSP. But sometimes like it wasn't looking like it was working out for Ayman. And sometimes you wonder if when you're being coached by a family member, if they take it easy on you or whatever. But it seemed like, I don't know if he got a new striking coach or whatever, but it seemed like he improving those hands.
Yeah, I was impressed too. If he would have won the fight, I would expect him to win by clinch and using lay and pray and stuff like that by decision, or at least by submission maybe. But nobody's seen him knocking him out like that, and he knocked him out now.
And don't he look like Ariel Helwani?
Yeah, he do. He do. Yeah, he do. Hey, but Trevor, back to your concussions though. Usually a week after the fight, you can go online and you'll see all the medical suspensions. You know, like they'll say this fighter got a 4-month suspension, this fighter got a 6-month, 8-month, whatever. You know, so I feel like in that regard, it is, something to be commended, because it's not like they just having these fighters go and fight 4 weeks later. You know what I'm saying? If you get knocked out, you're finna get a medical suspension, guaranteed.
And generally, even if you don't get knocked out after a fight, they generally give you a 30-day suspension unless you can get it cleared.
Yep. Like the only way you can fight maybe twice in a month is if you have a fight and like basically have a 17-second knockout or something like that where you don't get touched at all, which is very rare.
Yeah, because I just saw the Gilbert guy fought like back to back. Wasn't Gilbert Burns?
Yep.
Yeah, he just fought back to back, and he was in a fight with Masvidal.
Yeah.
So how the hell did they let that get by?
Because he didn't take no damage.
He took no damage in the Masvidal fight, and that was actually his 3rd or 4th fight in the year, which is why in the fight that he had against Bilal Muhammad, he tore his shoulder. I feel like he put too much strain on his body.
Look at Khamzat Chimaev. His first fight, I believe he took the guy down and strangled him and won. You know, in the first round, he didn't take no damage, and then he took another fight, knocked the guy out. You know, and he was able to fight. What was it, bro? 4 times in a few months.
I think he fought like 4 times in 2 months or something like that. And he and in his first 5 fights, they didn't last a total of 5 minutes, and he only took one strike.
So I guess he'd be okay to go.
Yeah.
All right. In our next bout, we have a women's flyweight bout. You have Miranda Maverick. That's a fantastic name. Miranda Maverick losing via unanimous decision to Jasmine Jadavicius, also from Canada.
One thing I didn't know coming into this fight, I found on the broadcast last night, was Miranda Maverick, who was ranked. She reached out to Jasmine on social media and called her out and was like, "Hey, what's up? I want to fight." You know, so I think she just obviously she underestimated her, and usually you don't really see that happen where an unranked fighter is calling out. A ranked fighter is calling out an unranked fighter. You know, even though she ranked number 15, but usually I would try to aim higher. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, um, she's more of a have a good ground game, and Jasmine just the vicious. She just basically outpaced her, and she just seemed hungrier, and she was catching her with some good shots, you know, some combinations or whatever, and she busted her up a little bit. And by the time the third round was over, by the time the fight was over, her face was swollen. And I feel like she just kind of took her will away a little bit, basically. And every time Miranda tried to go for a takedown, Jasmine wasn't having it. She was stuffing it, or she was countering it. She was just one step ahead the whole time.
You picked Miranda in this fight, right?
Yep.
See, I feel like the reason why she called her out is because she knew the Canada card was coming up, and I feel like she was trying to grow her notoriety. Okay, so if I can get on that Canada card and defeat a Canadian, then my notoriety will go up, even though she's not ranked. Miranda Maverick just outclassed her, and at this point, she was the third or fourth Canadian fighter. So all that momentum built up, and I feel like now it kind of put pressure on you at the same time. It's like I'm not gonna be the one to lose. Miranda Maverick came in.
Hold on, you said Miranda Maverick outclassed her?
No, Jasmine, my bad. Jasmine outclassed Miranda, and Jazdavicia, the striking was on point. She kept her distance. Miranda Maverick tried a couple of takedowns, and looking at their body types, you can see Jasmine Jazdavicia is like taller and slender, and Miranda Maverick is more bulky, and so you would think that she would be able to outpower her a little bit. But she defended the takedowns very well, and to the point where she gave up on him by the third round. And it's like as the fight went on, Jasmine just got stronger. She threw like an 8-punch combo that like literally pushed her back from one side of the octagon all the way to the other. I like the use of her body kick, her left body kick in this fight. I feel like she kind of started getting Miranda Maverick reaching, like dropping her elbows a little bit, and then she would hit her with combinations up top behind the kick, which is usually it's the other way around. It's like an unwritten rule. You don't throw empty kicks. You always throw it behind some strikes or something like that, but like some punches to the face. But I feel like she was leading with the kicks and coming back up top with the punches. Miranda Maverick had no answer for her. I do feel like she underestimated her a little bit. Overall, it was very entertaining. Miranda, I will say she don't got no quit in her. Like not once. She kept her game face on the whole time. Unlike another fight when we get to it later, but yeah, congratulations to Jasmine Jazdavicia. I feel like that was the biggest win of her career, and that kind of put the pressure on Mike Malott later on, since they're training partners.
Hey, I got a question. Because she beat the number 15, wouldn't it be as simple as putting her at number 15? and just bumping Miranda out.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, so here's something you don't normally see. In the middleweight bout, Nasruddin
Imanov.
Imavov. I'm assuming he won. Defeated Chris Curtis because Chris Curtis could not continue.
You can go first, bro.
Nah, it was well, it was ruled a no contest, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
No
It
contest.
says no contest.
Yeah, it was a no contest because of a headbutt. Nasruddin Imanov, he was getting the better of Chris Curtis, but then it was like a clash of heads, and it was a nasty one too. You know, when they hit heads, it immediately opened up a cut above his right brow, or on his right brow, which basically was bleeding into his eye. And he wanted to continue, but they stopped the fight, which they should have. And I don't even think he should have tried to continue. And the messed up part about it is this is the second time it happened to him. It happened to him when he fought Kelvin Gastelum at the fight my brother was at, but it didn't get caught. I mean, it didn't get called or whatever. Referee didn't see it, so uh, yeah, it was just, I don't know, a disappointment, I guess.
Yeah, it was extremely unfortunate for both guys. Nasruddin Imavov was definitely picking him apart. I feel like the blueprint has been kind of laid on Chris Curtis. He likes to he's a southpaw. He likes to stay in boxing range and just make it ugly kind of. He's technical too. He like to use that Philly shell a lot, but in using that Philly shell, he dip his head, and I feel like that could leave him susceptible to head kicks. But Nasruddin Imavov stayed at kickboxing range. He was picking him apart with the jabs and just kind of made Chris Curtis chase him. I feel like he used the blueprint that was laid by Jack Hermanson, because that fight really frustrated Chris Curtis because he couldn't never catch up to him. Um, Chris Curtis actually had gotten taken down for the first time in his career. Nasruddin Imavov cruised through the first round, started cruising through the second round. Curtis started going to the body a little bit, and that clash of heads is something you normally see. It's kind of to be expected when you got a southpaw versus an orthodox. So when they clashed heads, it was like real nasty, and I'm glad the referee caught it. It sucks for both guys because neither one of them get their win purse, and it sucks for Nasruddin because he was winning the fight. So he kind of got. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen in the third round. But as far as Chris Curtis, the blood was coming down in his eye, and he told the doctor he couldn't see. And then the referee said, "Okay, I'm gonna call it." And he's like, "No, wait." And he looked like he wanted to cry because he just felt like, damn, like I didn't get a fair shot. But I feel like he was on the way to losing anyway. So in the grand scheme of things, to keep an L off his record, and I really don't think they should run that back because it wasn't really that competitive. That was probably one of the less entertaining fights on the card, and it just sucks to see it end in controversy.
All right, so
But
both of y'all,
I feel
both
like
of
they
y'all
should
said,
treat. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
both of y'all said that he was getting. Hold on. Both of y'all said that he was basically was getting his behind kicked. Chris
Yeah.
Curtis, before the headbutt. So why does the Imanov guy get penalized and it's a no contest when he was clearly ahead on points? It's like if and anything else, like if you just clearly whooping somebody and something happens and they cannot continue or something like that, they lose.
Yeah, but the thing is, because it's MMA and it's a one punch knockout kind of sport, there's been plenty of fights where the person getting their ass whooped, for the first 2 rounds, and then come back and win in the third round. So you don't want to take it away from somebody. So that's why.
Yeah, because I know in boxing, after the third round or something like that, they'll go to the scorecards. But in this fight, it's only 3 rounds. So And I mean, championships have been won after people have gotten destroyed for 4.5 rounds and came back and won the fifth with a knockout or a sub.
Yeah.
So
And Anderson Silva with that first fight against
Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen, yeah. Sonnen beat him for 4.5 rounds.
Yep.
recently, Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman as well.
Yep. 35 seconds left in the fight.
All right, so let's get into this main card. So we have in the middleweight bout another Canadian going over. Seems like some home cooking to me. Marc-Andre Barrault defeated Eric Anders via unanimous. Wow, there's a lot of decisions on this. Via unanimous decision.
Honestly, I thought that Marc-Andre Barrios was going to run through Eric Anders. I thought that he was just in a better place mentally. He had the momentum going, and he was like the Terminator. Plus, he was in, in his home state, in his home country. Eric Anders, he hasn't really evolved the way you like to see a mixed martial artist evolve. So I expected him to get knocked out. Probably like the second or third round, but it was surprisingly competitive, more competitive than I thought it would be. Eric Anders, he looked like he actually was in there looking to win, and I was impressed with Eric Anders even in defeat.
Yeah, yesterday I said either this or the fight after it would probably be fight of the night, but I was leaning more towards the fight after it. I'm pretty sure this was fight of the night. Marc-Andre Barrios dropped Eric Anders in the first round. Nasty. He threw a right kick to the body followed by a right cross to the dome and dropped him. I thought the fight was over then. I did put a little parlay in. Marc-Andre Barrios was the first of 5 fights that I picked. After Andrews got dropped, it's like yesterday I was saying how he hasn't evolved, or maybe that was Friday, how he hasn't evolved as a fighter. But in this fight, I guess I spoke too soon because it looks like his cardio and his chin have both, I guess, better conditioning. You can take shots better. His cardio definitely evolved because that was an all-out war in the first round. After he got dropped, it's like it woke him up, and they were both in the clinch, trading knees, trading elbows, trading uppercuts. Eric Anders kept trying to get the takedown, but it was good defense on Barrios to stop it. I think he did get one in the second, but Barrios got right back up. Once the second round started, Eric Anders seemed like he was throwing the harder punches. Barrios kept he kept throwing that same combo, like kick and then punch from the same side. It was like a body kick followed by a right hook or a right cross, and it kept landing. And eventually, in the third round, he kind of pulled away. That was probably the most decisive round. I would have said it was. I think it should have been 2 rounds to 1, but all the judges gave 3 rounds to Barrios. I can't really argue it because that second round was the closest round. But yeah, it was a good fight, very entertaining. Probably fight of the night. So that's the extra 50 G's to Marc-Andre Barrios. And I think that who you think he should fight next, bro?
I'll have to look at probably the number 15 person. Yeah, so he's been on a little win streak.
Man, an extra 50 G's. Woo! Boy. Man, that could whew. Man. All right. Wow. In our next fight, we have a featherweight bout. Dan Ige wins. Dan Ige wins via unanimous decision over Nate Landwehr. Another decision, man.
This was a tough fight for me, man, because I'm a huge Nate the Train Landwehr fan. Hick Diaz, but he got thrashed in this fight, man. I can't even lie about it. He's more of a brawler, and I said yesterday that if he was to win this fight, he had to just go into a bloody war and just brawl. but Ige was too technical. In the first round, Landwehr was winning until maybe like the last 20 seconds. Ige caught him with I believe it was a left hook, and it dropped him, and he almost finished the fight. Maybe if it was like 15 more seconds on the clock, he would have finished the fight. So that round ended. Nate went to his corner, and the second round started, and it was kind of a little competitive. But then Ige caught him again, and dropped him even worse in the second round. And yeah, it was pretty bad. The third round was more competitive. And Nate made it a little nasty and got in the clinch a little bit more. But by that time, it was too late, and you could already tell. It was already in his head, and he was a little hesitant. He wasn't himself. So um, this was his biggest test, and it just shows he not quite ready for the upper echelon of the division yet.
Well, I told you so.
Yeah.
Bones. Uh, right before when these guys were walking out, me and Bones had a spirited debate about what was gonna happen, and Dan Ige was just too fast, too technical, and the shot that he dropped him with in the first round, it was so beautiful the way he did it, like the art behind it. You see him switch to southpaw in order to land the left hook, but by the time he landed it, he was like right back in orthodox. It was like a nice little switch that he did, and the way he timed it, which is perfect. Nate never saw it coming. He disguised it real well. And then and towards the second round, well, in the second round, I don't know if we were watching two different fights or not, but it wasn't competitive at all, in my opinion. Uh, Dan Ige, he did suffer like a cut or two, but Nate Landwehr's nose was definitely broken. Oh no, wait, I'm getting them mixed up with Eric Anders. Eric Anders' nose was broken. Dan Ige caught him with that same shot and dropped him and jumped on top of him, hit him with some ground and pound, but he survived. And after that, in between rounds, he looked like a deer in the headlights. I don't think he ever fully recovered from that second round. Um, so then in the third round, I think Dan Ige kind of cruised through it. He did get caught a little bit. Post fight interview, he was extremely disappointed in himself for not getting the finish, and that was a big win for him. I feel like he had everything to lose from this fight, being that he was ranked and he's the vet. Nate Landwehr really had nothing to lose, everything to gain, because that was like Bones said, that was his biggest test. He'll be back though, and I believe that he'll learn from this loss and it'll probably make him better. Dan Ige moving on to bigger and better things. Overall, it was pretty entertaining. But that look in Nate Landwehr's eyes after the second round told the story of the whole fight.
Yeah. Yeah. He just got to go back to the drawing board and hit the reset button. He'll be good.
All right, so we got in the performance of the night. The performance of the night, a welterweight bout. The winner, Mike Mallet, defeated the best name in MMA, Adam Fuggett, via submission. Okay, finally we got something over besides a decision here. We had that one KO earlier, but man, it's been a night full of decisions. So Mike Mallet over Adam Fuggett.
Mike Malott is the new Canadian prospect that the UFC got, and they're gonna put a rocket strap to him and try to make him the next big thing or whatever. But hopefully they slow build him. So far, he's been looking pretty good. When the fight started, Mike Malott he basically he controlled the fight, and I think within the first maybe minute of the fight, he caught Adam Fuggett with a nasty body shot. And I thought that he was going to stop the fight right there. And I thought it was going to be over within the first minute. But he recovered. And Mike Malott just kept sticking him with that body. and he kept hitting him with cheap kicks to the body and just body shots, body kicks, and it was really getting to him. He survived the first round. In the second round, he caught him with a nasty hook and dropped him. And then he trains with Uriah. He trained with Uriah Faber. That's not his primary account, but he trained with Uriah Faber. So in Team Alpha Male, they work them nasty guillotines, and they're pro at it. So he caught him. When he dropped him, he immediately shot in for the guillotine, got it, and submitted him. And he ended up getting him in full mount of the guillotine too. It was pretty nasty.
Yeah, I don't really got much more to add to that. That was pretty much exactly how everything played out. I will say this though, at the end of this fight, I was feeling pretty damn good because out of my 5 fights that I picked on my parlay, that was the third win in a row. So I was feeling pretty damn good, looking like I was finna get paid.
So, all right. So, I'm pretty sure you'll tell us the results of that later, but I want to go back to something Bones said at the beginning. Because again, when you guys talking, I listen for those little things. So you said that that they could strap the rocket. So you said they could strap the rocket to him, but then in the same breath, you said you hope they slow build them.
No, I said they're strapping the rocket. They're putting the rocket strap on him, but because they're doing that at the same time, I hope they slow build him because I want them to rush him. Rush him into the top echelon of the division, and then he get knocked out or something. It'd be a major setback for him. Just because he's a rising star and he's good and everything, you don't gotta give him a ranked guy yet. Just keep giving them people like this for the next couple fights and just slow build him. He can still be a star and not fight for a championship within a year or two.
So this goes back to the Cody thing, not winning at WrestleMania because somebody thought, well, you too, ain't no somebody, you too,
yeah,
thought that he didn't earn it yet. He didn't have to fight for. He didn't earn to be able to win it yet. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Because he entered the Royal Rumble at number 30 as the last person, and eliminated Gunther, who been there, who started out the thing, and then he just got the title shot like that. If he wouldn't have got injured and he would have stayed on the roster, then it would have been different. But he just came Royal Rumble, popped up number 30, and got a title shot.
I'm glad you say that. And you see what's been happening ever since. I mean, he's still over because of who he is, but he's over in spite of the company ruining a moment that they could never recapture again. So when you get these guys come up in MMA and you're like, oh man, let's take them all around the long way. Let's take them the slow way of building when they have all the momentum. I'm not saying put them up against your champion, but give them probably another tomato can. And then after that, you start building him to better fighters and not putting a 2-year. Sometimes you got to strike while the iron's hot. You can't put a 2-year window on something that could pay off for you in 6 months. I mean, at some point, these guys should be mentally stable enough that even if they lose, it doesn't derail their careers.
Okay, this was his 3rd fight. He's 3-0 in the UFC. So I would say give him 2 maybe 3 more fights, and then give him somebody.
I think 3 is too many. I feel like no matter what, this card was kind of built around him in a way. Because as you can see, he should have been on the prelims. The fact that they was in Canada, and he's he's way over in Canada already. Like he had a crowd pop. That's why they put him there. He's 3-0 in the UFC. So you saying you want him to win 6 UFC fights before you fight a ranked opponent? I feel like, and especially if they're all finishes too. Keep that in mind. Like he finished everybody. Like this is the longest fight he had, and he got the 2nd round finish. So I would say give him a tougher opponent, like somebody just outside the top 15, and see how he fare with that. And if he do good in that, then yeah, on to the rankings.
Hey, a good example is Sean O'Malley. I like the way they brought him up.
O'Malley had to build his star. He didn't have a country behind him already, whereas this guy got a whole country behind him already.
True.
Let's
And
let's
so
look at it this let's look at it this way. We're all big NFL fans. Unfortunately, you guys root for crappy teams, but we can't all be perfect.
Funniest.
So, all right,
the
we
only person who never seen his team win the Super Bowl.
man, don't make me kick you off. So what we what we know in history is that you draft these quarterbacks at number one, they have all the hype behind them, but then what did they used to do? They'd let them sit behind a veteran for however many years. Sometime Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for what, like 2 or 3 years, or just holding a clipboard. We've seen instances where a lot of quarterbacks have sat behind these veterans. Phillip Rivers sat behind Drew Brees for a while. It's like we see all these veterans sit behind, all these rookies sit behind these veterans while they're still making this money, and they're just sitting there holding clipboards. And then in a lot of cases, not every case, but a lot of cases, you put these guys in after sitting for so long, they bust, they flame out, they can't take the team over. Let's just say this. Let's sidebar a little bit. Who in their right mind really thinks that Jordan Love is going to pick up where Aaron Rodgers left off from?
I mean, that's not saying much because Rodgers is a choker.
Well, what we're saying is they have a perennial Pro Bowl quarterback. They have a future Hall of Fame quarterback that always has their team in contention. Now he's gone. You got a guy that's been sitting on the bench behind him for 4 years. So, he's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. He's supposed to be great. The Green Bay Packers probably may end up being one of the worst teams in football this year. Now, when you get these young guys, you got to put them out there like it's sink or swim. It's no more. You can't just sit a guy on a bench for 3 or 4 years to see how good, and let him play behind the veteran. You put him in there and you see what you got. That's all I'm saying with these fighters. Their window to make real money, and okay, let's put it this way. Say you keep feeding him tomato cans and he ends up getting a serious injury, and now it derails his career for like a year or two. Now, guess what? The steam is off of him. You can't recapture that.
I got one better. Say you keep putting him up against unranked fighters and he get beat, because anything can happen.
Exactly. Bro, you gotta strike while the iron is hot. When you got a guy that a whole country is behind, put him out there. I mean, worst case, you could pop a big pay-per-view market. Best case scenario, he'll win, and you can do it all over again. You can't keep slow boating people, because you slow boat people, people get bored of them, or they end up getting knocked out. And then when they get knocked out, there's no money in them. Dusty Rhodes used to always say, "Where's the money?" There's no money in the guy that's getting knocked out.
See, for me, I feel like each situation is different, because Bo Nickel, they should slow build him, but at the same time, he only got 3 MMA fights and he's in the UFC, so I feel like he don't really got the experience, even though he got the hype. Whereas Mike Malott, he got the hype, he got a whole country behind him, and it's looking like he got the skills. And one of the things he was saying in the post-fight press conference, they were asking him about his opponent and whatnot, and this, that, and the third, and he was saying how, it was asking him about, did he think he was gonna get the finish in the first round, second round? He said he don't look at I like his mentality. He said he don't look at the fight as round by round. He looks at each round as a separate fight. So he goes out and wins the first fight, try to finish it, and if you don't, then he's gonna try to win the second fight and try to finish it. And they kept asking him about how he prepared for his opponent. and he was saying how I don't focus on my opponents, I focus on myself. That's why you never hear me talk about my opponents. Like, he was a tough guy, but at the same time, I feel like if I do what I know I can do, then it don't matter what they bring to the table. So I like his mentality, I like his attitude, and I'm looking forward to seeing what his future going to be. I think it's going to be pretty bright.
And again, this is this is what I do in any aspect, any show that's done over here. I'm always that guy that's just brings up those other scenarios that maybe nobody's thinking about, or things that make to move the conversation further, because we obviously can see when it comes to the technical stuff and all that stuff, you guys know this like the back of your hands. This is, this y'all thing. But like, I'm listening to what we're saying, I'm like, that's an interesting point. Or how come nobody's harping on the concussion thing? Or how come, like, that's what I do. I'm just listening, and I'm like, okay, let's take this conversation over here real quick. That's what I offer. These guys are the experts. I offer the extra stuff.
It definitely adds to the conversation.
Yeah, because it makes you think. Like, I mean, because Bones is a guy. Bones is a wrestling fan. So
Yeah,
me and Bones is over there every Wednesday mostly, and we go back and forth on it. And Bones is a guy. Let's just say this Saturday we're going to an independent wrestling show. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna essentially see some people that hopefully are the future of the industry. So we're gonna feel like, oh man, I saw him coming up, and I follow his story.
You're gonna feel a connection to that person.
Yeah. And I told the story on Wrestling with Reality last week. It was I feel a connection to AJ Francis from Hit Row, because the last indie show that we went to together, we saw him there.
Yeah.
And he's a former Miami Dolphin, and I saw him I follow him on Twitter, and I sent him a message. I sent him a video clip from him doing a dive over the top rope. And he was like, "Oh man, you were there?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, "I hopefully one day I'll get to see you on the big stage." And sure as hell, he came into NXT. So it's like, so growing up, you feel a connection to these wrestlers. But I'm just saying, man, in MMA, wrestling is totally different though, man. In MMA, one punch could like have you be a vegetable. You rarely see it, but it can happen, man. And it's like, you guys were, I forget the fighter, but you guys were saying like when fighters, they get in their heads, like they go on these losing streaks, and a young guy like this, you keep putting him up against guys and he ends up losing all the time, then he'll become his biggest enemy. And then you're just thinking like, man, next year we'll be doing this, and you'll be like, damn, you remember when Mike Malott was the next big thing? Or Matt, what's his name? Mike Malott. When Mike Malott was the next, or should have been the next big thing, boy, they should have never kept giving him all those fights. They should have gave him a contender right away. So it's just stuff like that you think about, man. It's like that. To me, the Cody Rhodes not beating Roman will go down in history as one of the biggest blunders ever, because everything that they're doing right now, as great as the bloodline stuff is getting back to be, because what they're doing now with Jimmy and Jay is just tremendous. But as great as that's being, Roman doesn't need the belt for that to be going on. Cody could be defending it.
I got a question. Is that the black guy with the dreads?
No. That's Swerve. That's Swerve Strickland. This is the
Remember the independent show we went to, and we took a picture with a dude who had a belt?
Oh, Utah. He was a Southern champion. Hey, Bones, you ever seen that guy on? Look at that. Mike is even saying that's the biggest blunder. I'm telling you, the biggest blunder in WWE is not putting that belt on him. His name was Jake St. Patrick or something like that.
I seen him wrestling a few years ago at an NAWA show in Daytona, but I haven't seen him.
You talking about fighters who go on these losing streaks, and you just reminded me. I want to give a shout out to Marlon Moraes. He was top notch UFC championship contender. Fought 2 championship fights. Got a victory over Jose Aldo. Was undefeated for a while. Got a victory over the current champ, Aljamain Sterling. Lost to Henry Cejudo 5 years ago, and has been knocked out in like 7 fights in a row since then. And he's only what, like 34 or something like that.
Yeah, he actually trains down here too at ATT. Yeah, and that's an even better one, bro. Because I was going to bring up Ricardo Almeida, who was also a Brazilian undefeated fighter, and then he main evented and fought Cody Garbrandt, who was also undefeated. He got knocked out, and ever since then he hasn't won the fight. He been getting knocked out twice.
One more for you is Renan Barao. Won like 28 consecutive.
Yeah.
Biowin.
Yeah.
Man, you see that? We see how we just could get into these sidebar conversations. It's how it be, man. It's awesome. All right, so we're coming up on the co-main. I forget who y'all picked in this one, but another performance of the night. So this was performance. Oh, so you got 2 performances of the night. So what was fight of the night? Did I miss it?
3. You got 3 performance bonuses, and you got 1 fight of the night, which I think was Eric Anders and Mark Andre Barrios. The versus.
Oh, yeah. Barrios and Anders was fight of the night, and then you got the 2. Okay, so these next. Okay, so performance of the night. In the lightweight bout, Charles Oliveira knocks out in the first round, 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the first round, Beneil Dariush. Now, I remember y'all being all on Dariush's jock, so I can't remember who picked him, but I know y'all was talking about how good he was and how I was supposed to believe that he was going to go in there and make a statement. One of y'all said it. I can go back to it.
It was my brother.
But
I picked.
Looking at this stat, that's kind of not what happened.
Yeah, I picked Oliveira and he picked Dariush in this fight, but this fight was bittersweet because Beneil Dariush, he's won 9 straight fights, and he had a long road to get to where he at now. So if he would have beat Charles the Bronx Oliveira, he would have got a next title shot against somebody he was already supposed to face before, but due to injury, the fight got canceled. But the great debate was as far as the ground game, because Charles Oliveira, he has the most submissions in UFC history, and I don't know how this slipped my mind, but Beneil Dariush, he's a world jiu-jitsu champion of the world. So I was very interested to see what would happen when they go to the ground with each other. The fight started, and Charles Oliveira, he ended up like clinching up with Dariush, and he kind of pulled his guard and pulled him down, which you don't generally see. Most fighters, they'll shoot for a takedown, but they're not finna take you down with you on top of them, and they're on their back. They're just how confident he is in his ground game. He did that, and they were on the ground tussling for a little bit. But Neil was able to get up at one point, and then he ended up going back to the ground with Oliveira, which me and my brother was debating about before the fight or during the fight. Man, it was very competitive on the ground. I thought that if Beneil took it to the ground and went to the ground, Oliveira, he would get submitted. I was wrong. They eventually stood up, and it was Beneil had his back up against the cage, and Charles caught him with a head kick, and Beneil put his guard up and he blocked it, but not all the way. He kind of just like minimized it. It still got through the guard, and it rocked him a little bit, and he stumbled, and Charles Oliveira just went in for the kill and dropped him with a punch, and then he had him on the top, and he had him on the ground, and he just went for some nasty ground and pound and just knocked him out with ground and pound. And I felt bad for Beneil because he probably never finna get back to where he is now. because he don't got the name recognition, he don't got the fanfare. You know, he not finna sit there and brag and boast about himself and stuff like that. He don't got the hype behind him. So being that he lost his fight, he probably never finna get a title shot again. So it was bittersweet, you know. But I am an Oliveira fan, so I'm happy that he got back in the win column, and hopefully he can get his belt back from the Dagestani Makachev.
The great debate that we had yesterday was I was telling him that if I picked Darius to win and this fight flushed my money down the toilet, but the debate we had was how when Charles Oliveira gets hit, if he gets hurt, even if he don't get knocked down, he falls down, lays on his back because he's so comfortable on his back. Not only does he have the most submissions in the UFC history, he has the most finishes with 22. So he falls down to his back and invites you to try to come in for some ground and pound so he can finish you off of his back or sweep you and reverse you and get on top of you. So the debate was that I was telling him that if Benil knocked him down, he was going to go to the ground with him. And he was saying, no, he's going to do what everybody else does and let him stand up. And if he goes down there, he'll get submitted. This was the fight that I was saying that I almost don't even want to see him strike. I just want to see him on the ground and as short as the fight was, I got everything I wanted except for the outcome. I'm a fan of both guys, but I was pulling for Dariush. Oliveira already had the belt. He lost it in his last fight. um, and the grappling exchanges were amazing, very entertaining. Charles defended 2 leg locks. He got back up, and when he got back up, Charles stayed on the ground, so he went back down with him, and they grappled back and forth. It was very, very high level. It was some high level shit. When they finally got back up, Charles decided to get up, and then they went to striking. And I must say, Charles Oliveira got some power, man, because when he threw that kick, like Bone said, Benny blocked it, but like it still wobbled him. And when he smelled blood in the water, he went in for the kill, caught him with a 3-punch combo. Benny was falling, but in the process of falling, he tried to grab a leg, go for a single leg takedown, and Charles kind of like floated over and took his back and was going for a rear naked choke. And it also proved the point that we talked about before, where most rear naked chokes are a way out, because Benny, not only was he rocked, but he had one of the best submission artists in the UFC on his back. And when he went for that rear naked choke, he couldn't get it. He defended very well, tried to Imanari roll up out of it. And when he did that, Charles ended up on top and he pounded him out. So shout out to Charles Oliveira. I feel bad for Benny. I feel even worse for my pockets, but hey, it is what it is.
Okay, I was wondering what was the fight that messed up your money, because I don't really know the gambling terms. So as much as you want to tell us, what did you have to do in order to win?
I placed a $25 bet to win $500, and I needed what was it? I bet every fight on the main card. So I picked Andre Barriault to win. I picked Dan Ige to win. I picked Mike Malott to win. I picked Dariush to win, and I picked Amanda Nunes to lose.
So
even though Dariush lost the fight, if that would have went to the cards, he very well could have won that round. Yeah. Aside from getting.
So hold on, because I want to know more. About this money. So if it didn't matter how the fight ended, just as long as your fighter won.
Right. And I could have did that too for more money. Like I started to pick Mike Malott by TKO or submission, and I started to pick Dan Ige by TKO or submission, and that would have messed me up because Ige had 2 really good opportunities to finish at the end of round 1 and the end of round 2, but he didn't. So I kind of stayed away from that. I was trying not to be too greedy. And then The missus was even telling me, "Oh, you shouldn't touch those last two fights. Like you putting your money on there, you just being greedy. You shouldn't touch those last two fights." But I was looking at the payout, and if I didn't touch the last two fights, the payout was only like $100 versus going ahead and getting the last two fights in and winning five. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna just shoot my shot.
So they tell you what fight you gotta take.
Nah, you just look at the whole card and pick the ones you want, and then it'll tell you.
And let me give this quick disclaimer right now that the advice that you're hearing on the Straight Talk Society right now is only for entertainment purposes. We are in no way promoting gambling. We would definitely not do anything like that.
Hey, bro, I got a question. So you will go ahead and give Charles Oliveira the title shot, right, against Islam?
Definitely, and it seemed like he didn't want it. Like I was questioning his mental, his headspace, but he damn sure fought like he did, and then he called him out after. And
Yeah.
Danny even said that's a fight that he would want to see again, but he didn't want to give him no guarantees. I really, really hope that he don't try to slide the winner of Poirier and Gaethje in there.
All right.
Give it to let him run that back. And it's Chris, like that division, man, is so stacked and log jammed. So, and it's like see Oliveira take that belt back from Makhachev, but I would also like to see Dustin Poirier with that belt.
Bro,
And I saw how Poirier and Oliveira played out already.
I would like to see any take that belt from Makhachev. But with that being said, what about Beneil Dariush? He was reigning before. I think he should fight Rafael Fiziev, who was ranked number 6, because he's coming off a loss to Gaethje, or he can fight Mataz Gamrot or something like that.
I feel like he should fight the loser of Gaethje versus Poirier.
You can do that too. That'll work.
The Conor McGregor fight coming up, I feel like he can get the winner or loser of that fight.
Yeah, but you know
who Oliveira?
I don't think Dariush.
So last night, before we get to the main event, last night I saw, ever since we started doing these shows, different type of shows pop up in my my feed. So it was these 3 guys, know where they were. They probably were Brazilians, just the way they were talking, but they were live streaming the show last night. So they was doing like a live watch along. So obviously you can't have it playing in the background because Dana White will come after you quick for that. But they were actually there watching the fight and reacting as the fight was going on. And I thought that, I don't know if I thought it'd be good for us to do that for a fight. Yeah, McGregor did. Yeah, McGregor got into a fight with Bernie. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought about it that we should probably do that for one show. I don't know how we would actually do it. Well, I guess we could do it the same way and then just react as we're actually watching it. Just do a live watch along so we could get our reaction in real time as to how we, when it's going on. But because I see a lot of people do that. So the guy that's ordering the fight, because people love live reaction. So even if they can't watch it, just as long as somebody else is watching it and telling them what's going on, they'll stick around for that. I never forget one of the highest viewed shows I did on this channel was when I reviewed the Raw after Mania. I literally just sat through the 3.5 hour Raw and just talked over it. And it was, I said it was the worst Raw ever, but it was the most views I ever got on a Wrestling with Reality show. Like, people just love you reacting to stuff like in real time. So we definitely need to come up with a way that we could do that for a match or something. So I'm just throwing that out there. But all right. So let's get into the main event. I mean, you guys, so if I can remember, I know Zay said that she was going to lose. He even just mentioned it again. I'm almost certain Bones picked Aldana to win too, correct?
Correct.
I was the only one that said Nunes was going to win, but I said Nunes was going to win by KO in the second round. So I was off. I'm not going to take credit for that because it went all 5 rounds. But she said, but now I will say the scorecards were as lopsided as you're ever going to hear. I think it was like 55 to 44. Like, I'd never seen a scorecard that lopsided before.
Bro.
Which means that she got her ass kicked. So she might as well have gotten knocked out. But in the main event, we have the GOAT, the women's bantamweight champion, Amanda Nunes, defeating Irene Aldana via unanimous decision.
Man, I was
Like I said, waiting on this fight to happen. I feel like I didn't see the fight yet because Irene Aldana did not fight. And to put that into perspective, she has this stat that they always brag about where she averages 5 strikes landed per minute, and she only landed 42 in a 25-minute fight. She wasn't throwing. You can't take away from Amanda because I don't know if it was the moment being too big for her, if she didn't want to be there, if she had an injury, or if she was just overwhelmed by the presence of Amanda Nunes. But she literally did not fight. Like, she did nothing. That wasn't Irene Aldana. She did nothing to show that she could possibly. She didn't even show you why she made it that far. You get what I'm saying? It was just one-sided. Amanda Nunes was ankle picking her, and just, it's like if Amanda Nunes think about taking her down, she'll fall for her. It was crazy, and she kept her. She had to get in boxing range in order to do what she does. Amanda kept it in kickboxing range. She didn't want to come for it. She was throwing uppercuts from 4 feet away. She wouldn't commit to her punches. I don't know if she was afraid of the power, but it's like she didn't let her hands go. And in order for Amanda to knock her out, she probably would have had to take some chances. And you see the second, like midway through the second round, and Amanda started giving that grimacing Joker look that she give to her opponents when she know that she just got them beat. It's like, that's what that was. It was very unentertaining, by far the worst fight on the card, complete waste of time. And I lost a little respect for Irene Aldana. I'm not gonna say I don't respect her because I respect anybody that get in there and do that for a living. But man, it was just like that was a waste of time.
Yeah, this fight was embarrassing, and I was very disappointed in Aldana. Um, there's a female fighter named Caitlin Villeda, and to me, she's like one of the best fighters on the roster. You know, and she's an up and coming fighter, and Aldana knocked her out. You know, like clean, and she's the only person to have knocked her out. And if that Aldana would have came into this fight, you know, we probably could have seen a different result. But like bro said, she just didn't bring it. I don't know if the moment was just too big for her or I don't know. But at one point, I think it was in the third round or fourth round, she only landed 3 significant strikes. In the first round, she caught her with like a little hook that staggered her a little bit. But after that, it was nothing at all. You know, she wasn't pressing forward. She wasn't doing nothing, and every little feint that Amanda threw, she bit hard, like real hard. You know, every time Amanda, faked the takedown, she bit on that too, and it was just a very one sided fight. And I was saying before this fight, I was defending her and saying that she deserved a title shot, and I even picked her to win, and I was saying that I wanted to see this fight more than Juliana Pena, because remember she was a replacement fighter. Originally, it was supposed to be Juliana fighting Amanda, and during the fight, me and my brother was telling each other at least Pena would have brought the fight. She may have gotten the ass whooped, or probably would have gotten knocked out or something, but at least she would have brought the fight. You know what I mean? Aldana, she didn't bring it at all. And after the fight,
All right, so before we get to the retirement part, I don't want to get to the retirement part yet. So I want to go back. I want to pick this apart first because I asked you guys yesterday to sell to me why you thought Aldana had a chance against Nunes, and you guys are ripping off all this stuff to me. Oh, how she's this and she has all these significant strikes and she could do this and she's a better fighter, better. This is a better fight than the fight that was originally planned. And I was like, at some point, you're just gonna have to realize how great somebody is, and that's Amanda Nunes. So that's what I said. I remember that. But you guys sold me a good, because I was thinking, I fell asleep and I woke up. I'm like, damn, I'm going to read the headlines and it's going to say Amanda Nunes upset or Amanda Nunes rocked or what a way to go out on her shield or something like that. But when I watch this morning and I hear those scores, I'm like, God, I have never heard a fight score that lopsided. Normally when you hear fight scores, you hear them like 30-27, 30-28, or you never hear a fight score 55-44 like that.
yeah,
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
I'll add this.
50 to
I'll
40.
add this. At one point, Amanda got comfortable in the first round, and she threw like a long combination, and Irene Aldana slipped and caught her with one punch, a hook, and it staggered Amanda and spun her around. But the Irene Aldana I know throws combinations. If she would have followed up with that, she could have turned it into a fight. But it's like she showed right there she had the ability to hurt Amanda, but it's like she just put her. It's almost like she could have had her hands in her pockets. It was very disappointing. So, and I was right about one thing. Amanda did retire. I saw that coming. I felt like she wasn't hungry anymore. And to be honest with you, yeah, she looked impressive in this fight, but at the same time, to me, not really, because she didn't have to work for it. It's like literally, like it was a snooze fest. I only saw one championship fight that was worse than this, and that was Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza, because it was like two people doing what Irene Aldana did. In this case, Irene Aldana did what she did. Amanda should have finished her because she wasn't fighting back. So, and then in the the last round, Amanda, you could tell it's almost like she just took her down and held her there. Like she didn't even, like she could have finished that lady, but I don't know what it was. I feel like this was all set up for Amanda to lose because I feel like everything I said, everything Bone said was correct to an extent. We just couldn't account for her opponent not fighting.
Yeah, Irene didn't play her part, man. She didn't bring it. She wasn't her. She didn't have that look in her eye. Even her coach, man. I hate when I'm watching the fight and the fighter just not there, and you can see that their coach just trying to bring that passion out of it for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you can see that the coach wanted more than the fighter do. You feel me? And I hated seeing that because the coach, he was so passionate. He was just telling her, just you got to do something. Just bring it. Just do something. Like throw combinations, walk through her. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just trying to bring it out of her, and she's just looking like a deer in the headlights, just staring into nowhere, basically.
All right, let's get into these let's get into these strikes, and then I'm gonna tell you a little thing, because Zay did the one thing that I can't stand what people say. No indictment on you, because you people say it all the time, where they say that somebody just look in somebody's eyes and they can see that they don't want it anymore, or they don't have that fight, or they don't have that passion. So let's get into this real quick. So Nunes total strikes 196 to 57. So that goes to what you guys were saying. Like this isn't the striker that we're used to seeing. 6 takedowns to 0 from from Aldana. And so now in significant
those takedowns too, by the way, Trevor. You
huh?
need to just you should have saw those takedowns. Those takedowns was Amanda reaching for her leg and her falling down in defense.
I don't know what to say. I mean, so you got in significant strikes, you got 142, so 53% significant strikes to 41 significant strikes to Aldana. So let's get into this part. So Amanda Nunes retires, and I mean, we all kind of figured that was going to happen, but Zay's reasoning is like, oh, I didn't feel like she don't look like she's hungry for it anymore. So there's a reason why I played her speech at the beginning of the show. She said she has a family now, which is true. I mean, she has a daughter, and she has enough money now to where she doesn't have to get
the daughter.
Huh?
I know her wife has a daughter. We ain't gonna get into that though. Go ahead.
Yeah, she has enough money where she doesn't have to get punched in the head anymore. Remember, she's Brazilian. So let's just look at a crazy number that I just looked up. So the Brazilian unit of money is called a real, a Brazilian real. Amanda Nunes' net worth is $4 million US, and that was at the time of now, so it hadn't been figured in to whatever she may have now. So let's just say 4 million at the last number. That's 19 billion Brazilian reals. Do you think that she has to do this anymore? It's not a fact of not being hungry. She's beating everybody up. I mean, at some point you got to be like, you know what? I got enough money. It's always the whole thing. If I hit the lotto, would I continue to work? Absolutely not. I have nothing else to prove. Why, when I got money that could change my life forever, can't, and I'm just saying this, but can't you just be like, you know what? He's done his time. Let him ride off in the sunset. Let's not say that, oh, the fight isn't there in his eyes anymore. He doesn't want to do it anymore. No, I got enough money. I don't have to do this anymore. I'm rich. What Dave Chappelle say? I'm rich, bitch.
Hey, Trevor, I think both things can be true, because what you're saying is true, Trevor, but that in turn makes you not hungry, make you not want to fight no more, because I done ate up all my opponents, so I'm full now. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. We saying the same thing. Like she's not hungry. She's not wanting for anything. Like she's comfortable. She got everything she needs. She accomplished everything. Nobody can ever take nothing away from her.
Oh, okay. You saying that hungry? I thought you were saying how she don't have a passion to fight anymore.
I'm just saying, like, well, I feel like they go hand in hand. Like she's the best right now, and I feel like she came to America broke. She was saying how like the people at the gym used to put money in the box, and at the end of the week she'll get the box of money, and that's how she would eat when she first got here. So it's like that Amanda Nunes right there, hungry, passionate, fire. Like she's doing this because she's chasing the dream. Now she's accomplished the dream. So it's like, what more is there for her to want? Like, it's kind of hard to keep doing this when you've already reached the top and you made all of this money. You don't have that same hunger as far as like you're not financially driven as financially driven as you were because you got it all. And one thing I will say too that I like to see, which never happens, especially in any sport, but especially combat sports, was she got done with the game before the game got done with her. And I respect that.
Exactly. Like there's no, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing wrong with somebody going out on top. Like how many athletes did we see come back that one extra year and they're you know, they ended up just looking like crap. You know what I mean? Like You know, you got that NBA player that comes back just that one extra year, and then he ends up going into the tank. That football player, that old running back, let me give it an old college try, and then he ends up he ends up being Emmitt Smith for the Arizona Cardinals. Like, nobody wants to remember you like that. Look at Anderson Silva, greatest fighter of all time. Nobody wants to remember him getting his leg broken delivering a kick. Like, nobody wants to remember the greats like that. So it's time for these guys to just, yeah, Mike is right. MJ and the Wizards. It's like all these guys keep coming back because it's our fault. Just like I said, what Wrestling with Reality. Damn, I wish you could have been there, Bones Wednesday. But I said the reason why the Hardy Boys are able to do what they do is because of us, the bloodthirsty fans that don't care about them. We're the reason why these old men constantly want to come back and try to do swanton bombs. And when they got bad knees, we're the reason why these old fighters don't want to hang it up and they want to come back for one last fight. We're the ones that create a Chuck Liddell coming back when he know good and damn well he had no business coming back, and he ended up getting knocked out, laying down on the mat looking like an idiot. We're the reasons for that, because our bloodlust and we don't see them as humans. So when you have a athlete like this who nobody could beat, and I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I know y'all gonna tell me different, but the biggest fight Amanda Nunes could have right now would be against Ronda Rousey. That would be the biggest money fight. She'd destroy Ronda Rousey. I'm talking about strictly money. The biggest money fight that's left on the table for her would be a Ronda Rousey rematch, because the intrigue is like, can Ronda come back and do it? But that's not ever going to happen. So Amanda could literally, she's dominated everybody. She's beaten everybody up. I looked at Aldanya's face. Aldanya's face looked like baloney after that fight. Like, it's like she got beat up, like legit just beat up. And it's like Amanda looks like she's in good health, tremendous shape. She could go on and do something different now. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it.
I wouldn't put that all on the fans, because I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because yeah, we're the ones that want them to come back, but also because we're the ones that made them, a lot of them get addicted to that adrenaline. So it's like, especially as a fighter, I hear a lot of them say that fighting becomes their identity. So when they retire, it's like they don't know who they are anymore. And then even Anthony Smith was saying how the high that he gets from coming out and hearing the crowd go crazy for him, or scoring a knockout, or getting the victory, and the adrenaline that he get from that, he said he's chased it and he can't find it nowhere else. So it's like, yeah, we give them the drug, but they get addicted to the drug. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like a symbiotic relationship.
Well, that's why we had these conversations, because everybody could see that we got different views on things. But I feel like the more I do these shows, and not just this show, the wrestling show, the basketball show, I'm like, damn, man, the fans are like, we're the ones who pay them, but we're also the ones that put them in early graves. I mean, just because the bloodlust, man, like, we just always want to see it, and we just scream more. Like, I'm telling you, nothing was more apparent than watching Jeff Hardy try to do whatever Jeff Hardy was trying to do at Double or Nothing. And I'm just like, man,
it's very sad watching Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this guy used to be so great. This guy used to be so entertaining, but he feels like he has to continuously do this because he wants a "this is awesome" chant, or he wants a "you still got it" chant. Meanwhile, when he gets 50 and he can't play with his kids, how far are those "this is awesome" is going to get you?
Part of that is on the promotion too, on the AEW, because even though I'm an AEW, diehard fan, but when Jeff Hardy first came, within the first 4 weeks, he was already doing extreme shit, like jumping off the balcony, jumping off ladders through steel chairs and stuff like that. That's not necessary. We won't even doing that, And then what happened? Again because of that, I had to go back.
And we also know Jeff Hardy has an addictive personality, so it goes back to that. He's
He-
addicted to the rough.
yeah. Hey, but bro, hey, back to the one last thing about the fight. So now that the title is vacant because she retired, who do you think should fight for the belt?
The way I see it, you can go ahead and just scrap that featherweight division, and then for the bantamweight belt, which is what I'm sure you're talking about. I think they should run Caitlin Vieira versus Diana Pena.
I
What
agree.
you think?
Those are going to be my exact two people. Juliana Pena was already about to get the original title shot, so just keep her in there, and then make her. Well, actually, no. Caitlin Vieira lost her last fight, I believe, against Raquel Pennington. So I think Raquel Pennington should fight Juliana Pena. Actually, as much of a fan of, not a fan of, she won 5 straight fights.
And she was the backup fighter for this fight.
Yeah,
And Trevor, is one thing. Last night when this card was going off, they were showing the next pay per view. And remember when I was telling you how you can tell a pay per view card is loaded because of the numbers by the people's names? So if you could pull up UFC 290 and just, even if you don't know the names, just look at how it's lined up.
All right, let me do that right now.
bro. The number of names by that card is like a lottery ticket. Yeah.
Pretty much. Lottery area codes and phone numbers. And I feel like their next pay per views got potential to be cards of the year. It's not one of those fighter you buying the fight for the main event.
Hey,
But
bro, why he pulling that up? Why he pulling that up? Who you got next week? Cannonier versus Vittori.
I have Cannonier, to be honest with you. I think Cannonier gonna win that fight. And it's sad because I feel like it don't really matter as long as Adesanya got the belt.
Yep.
But I feel like Cannonier is gonna win that fight. What you think?
I got Cannonier winning by decision. I don't see Vittori being finished by.
Yeah, when we come from that show, now I'm gonna just come home and rewatch it because I know I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
So let me man, Zay, I don't know what happened, but your mic like went to holy hell.
I had to relocate.
All right, let me share the screen. All right, so UFC 290. We got, who is this? Volkanovski versus Rodriguez. So you want me to look at the card?
Yeah, look at the card, yeah.
All right, so champion Alexander Volkanovski, okay, versus Yair Rodriguez. So what belt does Rodriguez have?
He got the interim featherweight belt because Volkanovski fought and tried to get the lightweight belt. So he fought for the interim belt, and now they're gonna go ahead and unify it. But if you look at this card, just scroll all the way down and work your way back up. You'll see you got champion versus champion. You got all the way down on the prelims. You got numbers. Look like, let me see.
All right, so you got Kamalo Kirk versus Esteban. These guys got some crazy names.
Go up to like the prelims, the regular prelims.
So
Nico Price versus
Robbie Lawler.
Jimmy Crute, Alonzo Minifield. That's gonna be a good one.
When you look at that main card, you'll just see everybody just rank.
Got Della Maddalena.
Well, here you go with a 914. All right, hold on, Zay. I gotta mute you. This is too much in the background. Here you go with a 914 welterweight bout. Sean Brady and Jack
Maddalena.
Yeah, Robbie Lawler. Wow, I didn't know he still was doing this.
This is return fight.
So now the main card, you got Tristan Gore versus Bo. Oh, Bo Nickel is back.
Yeah.
You got number 10 versus 11, Jalen Turner versus Dan Hooker. I feel like I saw Jalen Turner on the Miami card.
Yeah.
Before, and he was supposed to fight Dan Hooker then, but Dan Hooker pulled out, so he fought somebody else.
Robert Whitaker versus Driscoll DuPlessis. That's a 2 versus 6. Yeah, you got a lot of ranked fighters on this one. You got a flyweight title bout in the co-main, Brandon Moreno versus Andre Pantoja. So that's the number 2. Yeah, you got a lot of ranked fighters on this one. And then in the main event, Yair Rodriguez versus Alexander Volkanovski. Yeah, you got a lot of ranked fighters on this one.
Oh yeah.
For the people that don't generally watch, or if you're a casual fan and you trying to decide which pay-per-views to buy and which ones not to, because I know it get pricey. When you look at a card and you see that, that's one of the ones you want to get.
Oh yeah.
So you think that one gonna be full of bangers?
Most definitely. Very competitive fights. Nico Price is one of my favorite fighters. I seen him coming up on the independence scene out here. I seen him fighting at Extreme Action Park. You know, I seen him fighting in local gyms and stuff like that. So I'm a huge fan of Nico Price. Even though it's Robbie Lawler retirement fight, I gotta go with my boy Nico.
Lawler would be one of the guys where it's like he's not in his prime. He's definitely, the game is, I wouldn't say it's done with him because he still put on good performances, but it's like he's not the same Robbie Lawler. Like he's not where he was, and we're not gonna remember him as the ruthless Robbie Lawler.
Definitely Hall of Famer though.
Yeah, because you see when I saw his name, I'm like, oh damn, he's still fighting. Because he's one of those names that I just know.
Yeah, he's gonna bring it too.
He's gonna be a 2-time UFC Hall of Famer because the fight with him and Rory McDonald in the Hall of Fame.
I'm gonna have to get up off of here, but when you want to do the review show of a fight, the fight review show.
I'm booked. I'm not doing another show. I'm not after tomorrow. I'm going cold because we're not even doing a wrestling show this week because I got a debate coming up on the 20th. So I'm going cold. I can't do anything until after that. And then from there, depending on how that goes, then I'll know, am I in the championship or not? If I'm not in the championship, then hell, we got open reign to do whatever. But if I'm in the championship, then that's going to be another real tight schedule for me. Well, I mean, we'll obviously do, if a main show comes up, we'll have to do that. But yeah, I'm definitely not. I can't book any shows because I got to get ready for this debate.
To you, sir.
Yeah, I gotta win, man. I can't do nothing. So y'all see, all right. So you say you gotta go. So all right, well, let's get your final words because we're approaching that 2-hour mark anyway, and I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed.
Overall, it was a good card. Canada went 6-0. I was surprised by that. Shout out to Oliveira for coming back, man. You know, use that momentum to get your belt back from that Dagestani. And Rebos, I got no words for you. Just go back to the drawing board and come back stronger. You better than that. I mean, not Rebos. Sorry.
Yeah, Aldana, I'm hoping this loss can hope she can learn from it. And now she got some championship experience. Honestly, I kind of don't want to see her in another championship fight. She got to earn that. For real, man, because it was like, oh man,
bro,
like,
you wet the bed, basically, man.
Literally the worst fight on the card. Overall, the card over delivered. It wasn't a lot of high profile fights, but the fights were very entertaining. It was a short card. I was okay with that. You didn't really notice it because it was a lot of decisions. And on to the next one. I will see y'all boys on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely, man. Looking forward to that. Very excited for that. We're going to CCW independent show locally here in Florida. Definitely. Are any old timers supposed to be at that?
I'm not.
I don't know. I can't find the match lineup, so I have no idea what's going on. I don't even know why they call it Kumite. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, did you go on their website or what? So you don't even see a match card though.
No, that I went on the website and it don't show you the lineup. It just got the flyer, and if you want to buy tickets, the time and the date. And believe it or not, I actually had to call the promoter to get them to open up some more front row seats.
Oh, so it's a sellout.
I guess so, at least the front row.
Yeah. Yeah, those CCW shows are good, man. Those them independent shows are really fun.
Oh yeah.
It'd be cool to have all the kids together too.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't told my little one. She doesn't know, so it'll be a surprise to her right up until we leave the house.
Cool. Y'all have a good night though. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it.
All right, fellas.
All right, peace.
Peace. Oh, well, Straight Talk Society. There you have it. Another. Oh, Venkat just coming in. I was just about to say something about Venkat. I just saw a message that he sent me. I don't know when he sent it, but I just got it. He's saying that he didn't like the bloodline story. Again, that's why I tell you, me and him don't agree on much of anything, because I thought the way they did that was tremendous. But we'll save that for another show. But there you have it. Another great episode of Straight Talk MMA. We reviewed what ended up being Amanda Nunes' last fight, the greatest female fighter of all time. I mean, when you could clearly just beat the ass of everybody that stands in your way, I mean, what else can they say? And now she gets to ride off in the sunset, enjoy the rest of her life, enjoy her money, and most importantly, she could walk away healthy. That's the most important thing that we can never lose sight about, because as much as we like to bag on the NFL, as much as we like to bag on WWE, because everybody, whenever they hear wrestling, they automatically just assume WWE and their concussions. We don't shine a light enough on UFC and their concussions. You're getting punched in the head for a living. So when someone can walk away at the top of their profession, being the absolute best, then I applaud that person. Amanda Nunes, you are the GOAT. No one could ever touch you. You are the greatest of all time. And I felt so happy to be able to hear you say that you're going to walk away to enjoy time with your family. I mean, that was the greatest thing, because like I say, man, so many people have to work their finger to the bone. They have to work into old age, and they never get to enjoy the fruits of their labor. So the fact that she can walk away, like I said, her net worth is over $4 million. And if she goes back to her home country, she could live 20 lifetimes with that type of money. I mean, so, it is what it is. So Amanda Nunes, my hat's off to you. If I was wearing a hat, you are the greatest of all time. And to end this show out, I'm going to end it just how I began it. You guys know I don't play people's videos on here, so I will play you just the audio. But to the Straight Talk Society, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at 6 is Man Talk Monday. We'll be talking about polygamy in the Black community. That's going to be a fire show. Man Talk Monday is a flagship show of the Straight Talk Society. So it's anything goes. You guys heard on the show Friday, I instituted a new rule. I'll go over it again I'll go over it on tomorrow, but I am banning the use of the F word on all of the shows going forward. I missed out on I may have potentially missed out on the opportunity to have an interview that could have done wonders for the channel, but you live and you learn. That's my fault. I will not be changing my content. My content is going to remain my content, but as far as, and I've been thinking about this for a while, it only took something to happen for me to realize, but I'm a smart person. I mean, I'm a smart person. My co-hosts that we have are smart. Our panel guests are intelligent enough that we could express ourselves without constantly dropping the F-bomb. And when I went back and I listened to that wrestling show and I heard the amount of F-bombs that were dropped in, and I was like, Ugh. And then the fact that that's the show that the guy that I was trying to interview went back and listened to, it's kind of embarrassing that on a wrestling show we drop so many F-bombs, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. So that's a potential great opportunity that I missed out on. But as the channel holder, this channel has my name all over it. Everything that, it doesn't matter what show is done over here, it all ties back to me. Everything has my name and face on it, my likeness. So it's going to be ran the way I want it ran. And we're smart enough. We don't have to use the F word all the time. That's why I don't allow arguing. That's why I don't allow people to come on the panel and argue for that same reason, because when people get in arguments, they can't argue without cursing one another out. So, like I say, you live and you learn. So that's where we're going with that. So I'll reiterate it again tomorrow, because tomorrow is Man Talk Monday, and that seems to be that's the show that gets the most viewership on the channel. That is a flagship show of the channel. So I'll make sure and reiterate that again. So with that being said, I do have a debate on the 20th over on Solar Vision Debate League. It is the conference finals. You win that, I win that, I'm in the championship. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Solar and Angel did a show earlier where they presented the trophies. Those trophies are tremendous. They aren't any little cheap looking trophies. Those are some nice, beautiful trophies that I'd love to have right here in this spot right here. I'd love to have my Solar Vision Debate League Season 5 championship right here. So when I go live, you guys can see it. They spent some good money on those trophies. Those are some nice trophies. I watch a lot of debate leagues around this thing, and they don't give their debaters anything, but those trophies are nice. So I want one. So that's why I'm shutting it. After tomorrow, you won't see me go live for a while until after the debate. Me personally, if Pour Your Heart Out wants to do something, that's fine, but we will not have a Wrestling with Reality this week. I won't be doing anything on the weekend. I may do a Man Talk Monday, and if I do a Man Talk Monday before the debate, it will only be for me and Blue to kind of have a last minute back and forth before our clash on Tuesday. If he's not available, then I won't even have a Man Talk Monday, because I am so serious about winning this thing. So I'm going to go into lockdown, but we will have our Man Talk Monday tomorrow because it was already scheduled. We'll be talking about polygamy in the Black community, and because it's something Kevin's been wanting to talk about for the past 2 weeks that he's been on. I didn't know that it was such a hotbed topic, but apparently it is. We're going to talk about it. I also have one of the religious brothers supposed to stop by and weigh in on it, because he's going to have to show me where the Bible does not condemn it, where the Bible condemns it. That's what he's going to have to show me, because polygamy is not condemned in the Bible, but he's going to have to show me where it is, so that's going to be real fun. So there you have it. It's time for me to go to bed, man. I had a really busy day. So peace to everybody that's in the chat. Peace of Venkat coming in. Peace to Mike. Peace of Angel was in the chat earlier. Tequila. Peace of Nini. Peace of St. Louis for coming by. Peace to everybody watching out in the clouds. Peace to everybody watching over on Facebook at the Straight Talk Society. Make sure and hit that like, share, and subscribe. You know, subscribe to the channel. Go back and check out the content. I see that there's been an uptick in the videos lately. People are going back watching all our old stuff. I appreciate that. It's something for everybody over here. It is. So with that being said, I'll leave you with these words. Always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. We'll see you tomorrow on Man Talk Monday. I leave you with the words of the greatest female fighter of all time, Amanda Nunes. Until tomorrow, peace.
Amanda, I can honestly say it's one of the greatest careers that we have ever seen in the octagon. But it hurts to know that this is the end of the run. What went into this decision for this to be your final fight inside the UFC octagon?
My mom will be asking me so much to do this for so long. She cannot take anymore, you know. So my family as well, Nina, has been around for so much with me my whole career. So she's pregnant now. And then we in this road for so long. So I decided right now, I'm still young to enjoy everything that I make, you know. I gotta travel a little bit with my family. I gotta spend more time with my family in Brazil as well. I leave them so young to come here to chase this dream and everything. I never was down in my mind, I'm gonna become a champion. But when I become a champion, it was unbelievable. A double champion. So I just want to thank Dana to always be there for me, Hunter, and everybody that's making this show happen, all the staff in the UFC, you know, since the person that's taking the pictures and the security, and every single person in this show that's making this show happen. Thank you very much, Hunter. Thank you. I appreciate everything. So, one more thing to say. I come from a small city in Brazil. The name is Pojuca. Nobody knows where it is in Brazil. But I made it here. I become a champion. And the only champion that Brazil has right now. So, I'm leaving. Thank you.
Amanda, it was an amazing honor to watch your career all the way from Strikeforce to the UFC. What a performance tonight also, and what a fantastic career. Congratulations on a great career. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the greatest fighter